guys, Mike Webner with your Essex Surf Housings tip for the day. Today we're going to be talking about silicone grease and its application to our main O-ring seal and also our control O-rings. Silicone grease can be found at your local hardware store. Go to the plumbing department and ask for silicone grease for O-rings and faucets. If they try and steer you to the automotive section, don't go there. You want the silicone grease from the plumbing department. People then ask me, how much silicone grease do I need to put on the main O-ring? Not very much. A little bit of silicone goes a long way. Silicone grease can also attract sand, and sand is our enemy. So if you just get a little bit on your fingers, and as you start to put it on the O-ring, you'll notice a nice little sheen on the O-ring. The O-ring glistens. That's what we're looking for. That tells us that we're putting a nice thin layer of O-ring grease onto this O-ring. The O-ring grease will help maintain the O-ring, it will protect it, and it will also provide for a nice seal. Now for our controls, we have a stainless steel shaft that goes through an O-ring. The O-ring is held in a gland, and the glands on Essex surf housings, the O-ring is always exposed at the top. The bottom side of the gland just has the shaft coming out of it, but at the top of the gland is where our O-ring is. So usually a toothpick is a very good tool to use to get the O-ring grease in against the shaft. Now I usually take a toothpick, get a small bit of silicone grease on the end of the toothpick, and you can introduce the toothpick to the control shaft and rub a little bit of silicone grease onto the control shaft. And then you can push down and push up, push down, push up, and all of a sudden it starts to slide really, really smoothly. This is what you want. You can spin it, and you're getting your silicone grease worked in and around the O-ring, and you'll be able to feel the difference between a control which has not been maintained and a control which is maintained. Again, we can take our toothpick, and on some controls there's not a very wide range of movements of the control, so we have to do our best to work the control within its range of motion, and we'll be successful in greasing up that O-ring. Again, I'm using the toothpick to push O-ring grease against the control shaft, which is made out of stainless steel. I'm pushing on both sides of the control, working that O-ring grease in there. This is the switch over from still to video control for the 7D housing, so it has a limited range of rotational movement. I'm going to do that back and forth, push and forward. That's feeling really nice. So now I'll move on to the rear command dial. Again, with my toothpick, put some grease in there on the shaft, push back and forth. Feels good, spin it. Good deal. Now for the mode command dial, again, a little O-ring grease right in there. Push back and forth on the control. I can already feel it sliding more easily than it was, and spin it. That's it.